Have you ever been a fan of something that you know is complicit in enabling violence, but you enjoy watching it anyway? How do you navigate that tension between enjoying something and knowing that it's causing harm? And how does having fun help to hide the idea that popular culture is implicating us in harm at all? My name is Zoë Jay. I'm from the University of Helsinki, and these are the questions that I explore in my article, If It Makes You Happy, It Can't Be That Bad: Liberal Enjoyment and Complicity in Popular Culture. So this article is about the links between enjoyment and complicity at international mega events like the Olympics, the World Cup, and the Eurovision Song Contest. I focus specifically on Eurovision because although it's famous for being Europe's largest party, it is also currently responsible for allowing the state of Israel to present itself as a normal, fun-loving state on an international stage while it commits genocide in Palestine. And this link between enjoyment and complicity is really interesting to me because usually when researchers talk about complicity, they focus on factors like violence and economic coercion that force people into complicity, like having to collaborate with an oppressive regime in order to survive, or feeling compelled to buy fast fashion because ethical clothing is too expensive. But that focus on coercion overlooks the ways that we willingly engage with popular culture that we know implicates us in harm, not because we're being forced to, but because we enjoy it. So I do two main things in this article. The first is to demonstrate how mega events entice people into complicity through a specific form of enjoyment. I call this liberal enjoyment because the producers of these events specifically tie the type of entertainment they're trying to offer to liberal political values such as inclusion and diversity. And when you put those two things together, it creates this feel-good atmosphere and it keeps people wanting to watch, not only because it's fun, but also because it feels like you're supporting a good cause. That also makes it harder to resist or critique because if everyone else around you is enjoying themselves, you don't want to become the person who spoils the fun by pointing out the harmful politics. The second thing the article does is look at how Eurovision fans navigate that environment of complicity. I conducted online focus groups and interviews with Eurovision fans from around the world in June 2024, which was just after Eurovision had ended in May that year. And the fans I spoke with talked about enjoyment and complicity in different ways. Some try to keep politics and enjoyment separate. Some try to find compromises between opposing Israel's participation and having strong emotional and personal connections to the contest. And others boycott it altogether, even as they admit that it's hard to give up something that they've enjoyed for a long time. So fans make many different choices about what to do with the knowledge that the object of their fandom has implicated them in harm. But each of those choices shows us how enjoyment works as a mechanism of complicity. It pulls us into these party atmospheres, it distracts us from harm, and it makes it harder to resist. For international relations scholars, thinking about the relationship between enjoyment and complicity at mega events allows us to move beyond our current focus on enjoyment and the far right in order to look at the politics of enjoyment in its more mainstream and progressive forms. It also helps us to pay closer attention to fans and audiences as participants in international politics. And for the fans of these events, it helps us to think about the political consequences of our consumer choices and the ways that enjoying something that seems like harmless fun might not be so harmless after all. That's not only the case for Eurovision, but also for things like the upcoming World Cup in the US under Trump, or J.K. Rowling funding transphobic legal cases with profits from the Harry Potter franchise. Ultimately, recognizing the ways that enjoyment draws us in and keeps us attached to events and cultural objects that enable suffering is a really important part of the process of resisting complicity and pushing for change, even, or perhaps especially, while we enjoy the things that we're trying to change. So that's it from me. I hope you'll check out the article and thank you for watching.